Welcome, nobody. Everybody is fearing the streets. I just wanted to get this out here again to go live and just talk a little bit about that. You shouldn't be panicking in the market right now because we are retracing. And personally, I feel that this has a lot to do with just the news of the Ethereum merge. If you have followed me during this time, you know that I have been a big proponent to saying that, hey, watch out for a lot of volatility before Ethereum actually merges. And it's not just that, it's actually what has gone on today with the CPI numbers, with the CPI numbers of inflation being, 0.3% more than what they wanted it to be. It's 8.3. I personally think that it's much higher than 8.3, but that's beside the point. The market has responded, and it's not just crypto. It's been the S&P 500, all of the stocks. Let me just open them up real quick. I know the market's closed, so this is after trading for these guys, but look at what's happened. Boom, 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 boom. And gnarly crash. That is a big effing candle. That is a big candle, especially for the S&P 500. We're below 4,000, which is that psychological level on stocks to be like, oh God, it's the end of the world. And for anybody that's not trading, for anybody that's just worried about A, their retirement, or B, I already said A, or B, just their small stash, or maybe they have a large portion of money in certain stocks. I mean, funny story, that my wife, she's in vet school, and they're doing a finance class, and they have to do stocks and they have to trade, and it's kind of silly, but I'm like, hey, I do that like all the time. And so I got them set up in an 80-20 safe portfolio between 80% stocks, 40% bonds. And right now it probably would be a better idea to be more of like a 60-40, have more bonds on there because we are in a bear market. But I'm just kind of a risky mofo that likes to have gains, but then smooth the ride with some bonds in there. And, yesterday they were number one in their class because of that portfolio that I had them, because they have a paper trading account of $100,000. So we put 80 grand into VTI and some other index funds. And then we put, 20 grand into some index funds that were just bonds, mortgage-backed securities, and they were all hyped because they were winning. Well, today they went from first to almost damn near last, right? Because we put a lot of the portion of the money just up front, because I'm like, hey, I don't see anything big. Personally, I didn't realize that the feds were going to talk, release anything. I thought it was going to be like September 22nd when they were going to get back. Like the Fed meeting for September. Yeah, I guess I should have known. September 20th to 21st is really, so the whole market, as far as doing this because of 0.3% and what they call their fake numbers of inflation, is complete BS in my opinion. I don't say that this large wick is going to have a large, I wouldn't say engulfing candle again, but I think we're definitely going to pump up from there. And you could maybe say that it's heading into a downtrend on the S&P 500 if I'm looking here just at the 1 year mark here, but I don't know. It's tough. But if you followed me on TikTok and everything, I said that we were going to get back above the $1,600 range for Ethereum. That has really been my go-to. Let me get stochastics out of the way. If anybody's interested, stochastics is just a delayed indicator, but it's converging, which is nice because we see it go down. We see this going down. Do I see any sort of small, maybe divergence because it's actually lower than the previous? Maybe, but I'm not worried about it. Let me zoom in here. I've got a bunch of my lines in here because I really like support and resistance. I'm not a big fan on huge wedges. I don't really like wedges. I like triangles for patterns, but I do not like wedges. People drawing wedges all the time. I'm like, it's not okay. If I'm gonna say what I'm saying here, wedges. This is what I mean by wedges. Flags, you could almost call them flags. Flags more of horizontal, and people, some of the traders that I talk to, they're like, hey, Johnny, you could have seen that we were in that wedge. Of course we were going to break down. I'm like, guys, I don't effing care about your wedges, okay? Technicals don't correspond with fundamentals. You could have the best technical setup and then you get this news of freaking inflation popping and then it just is going to tank everything. That's just how things go. All right. That's just better, than, yeah. So, I am still actually winning my Ethereum trade because I got in at 1550. And we're above that. We're at 1587. We are damn close to that 1600 of what I said we're going to. One pause. Let me get to some of the chat here where he says, should I hold on to this market in ETH? Dude, that's a loaded question. I am not here to give you financial advice on what you should do. You could have $1 million in ETH right now that you can't afford to lose. If you have more money in the market that you're not willing to lose, then it shouldn't be in there, per se. But if it's money that you really don't care about, where it's not going to make you destitute, you're not going to not be able to pay your bills or pay the mortgage. I mean, that's the same thing. Bills or eat. You're not going to be able to buy food. If I were you, I'd hold on to ETH. Long-term, ETH is a winner. It is a big, big, big winner, right? I don't see ETH going back down to $1,000. I just don't. Jed said you should separate portfolios, one for trading and one for HODL, about 5% of your value in trading and the rest. Dude, that's honestly, Jed makes a very good point, right? My trading portfolio is 10% of my HODL account. That's just how I like to set it up. And of that 10%, I only risk 1 to 3% of that 10%, if that makes any sense. Simple example, you got 10 grand in there, I'm only willing to risk $100 to $300 per trade, each time I trade. Granted, I could leverage that shit to the moon and I could be trading it like it's 30 grand, okay? And that's how people make money. Even in the stock market, they use margin, which is essentially leverage, right? So Jed is absolutely right. There's a difference between an investing account and a trading account. And just so that I can tell you guys that if you want to win in this market, trading is not the best path. It's just not. It's just not the best path. The best path to wealth is long-term buy and holding and never selling. Nobody wants to tell you that. They want to show you all these fancy numbers and load their charts up with this and that and have all these indicators, and you can't see what the F is going on here. It's just a nightmare. That's not how you should do it, okay? Trading is just like going to school or anything. You got to put the time in to be proficient at it. The best way, exactly what I did for my wife in her finance class, is she was in a group of 10 girls. They had no idea what a buy and sell signal was. They had no idea what an ask and a bid order was. They had no idea what a limit market order was. And I needed to just help them make it very simple, because they are going to school to be doctors, not to be financial professionals, right? They're going to hire somebody to do that. But I told them to stay the F away from mutual funds, because mutual funds they're either loaded up front over the long term every year, or backloaded where there's a big fee on the backload. So I told them to stay with index funds, and it's going to work out in the long run, right? Because you just need to make stuff simple. That's why I love that quote by Coco Chanel, the dude that makes all those freaking purses, is the keynote to success is simplicity. Just as soon as it's simple, it makes it easy. Right? So that's why I'm a big proponent to investing every week or just every paycheck. If it's weekly, you invest every week. If it's monthly, you invest once a month. If it's bi-weekly, you invest twice a week. But that's what you do. You pay yourself first, right? And my big portfolio for my savings account is an 80-20 stock to bonds. It's nothing sexy, right? But actually in this market that is going down because we're in a bear market, both stocks and crypto, I'm up 10% in my savings account because of it, right? I've got 80 grand in there right now and I'm up 10%. Like, sweet. You know, it's my oh shit money, but it's my safe money, right? Because I got the bonds in there to kind of move the ride. And I love that account, and it's not a sexy account. You know, I just, whenever I get paid, I put more money into it, like my savings, okay? Because if I was to keep my savings, I'd be down 8% because inflation is up 8%. It's horrible, okay? But back to kind of telling people to not freak out about what's going on in the market, okay? You know, I actually let me get back to Bitcoin. I actually ended up longing again on Bitcoin, okay? I moved my entry point down just a bit because I doubled down. You know, I put that 50% back in that I sold. If you watched my live stream a few days ago, you know, and it could bite me in the butt because I didn't move my stop. I have not moved my stop, so I'm risking the same amount. I just moved the entry down just a little bit, and so it made my risk ratio not quite as enticing. And I know that because, truthfully, since I am trading on the daily, I needed to wait for this candle to trade. But I know of that level, of the psychological level of 20,000. And, you know, if I look at the Ethereum merge, which this is the most important number in crypto since Bitcoin and Ethereum were invented, this is the most important thing to happen in crypto, okay? And for that matter, I'm incredibly bullish. And yes, it could bite me in the ass. I'm going to tell you guys, forewarning, I might get totally bit in the ass, but I'm risking 1% of my portfolio, okay? So I've done much stupider shit before. I'm not super worried about, hey, I took profits and then today happened and there's this giant boner killer candle because the effing Fed decided to say inflation is up more than what we expected. And I'm like, of course it is. You know, it makes no sense because back in July, they raised rates and everyone were like, woohoo, and the stock market just took off. You know, it just, okay, what happened in July? You know, right about here, we just went boom up, you know, and we had a 25% gain because they raised rates. So it makes no sense. That's why you got to just go with the flow. Nobody knows what the heck is going on in the market. Anybody on YouTube that gets thousands upon thousands of views, some of them, you know, but the majority of them kind of lead you astray because they go with what's sexy, not what's accurate, right? And a true trader puts in a trade and is not worried about it because they're either right or wrong. Simple as that, either right or wrong. Whatever feeling that they have as far as why they entered the trade, they think that it's going to go a certain way, but it is almost just as likely to go the other way too. Anyway, I'm digressing, but that's just what I did. I'll zoom in just a little bit so that you guys can see a little bit more. Maybe, you know, I entered back in right around 20,000, put that 50% profit right back in. Didn't move my stop. I feel like my stop is fairly safe underneath the $18,000 mark here. And, you know, that's just where I has. We can see right now that we're getting a retracement where buyers are stepping in. That's where we're getting this line in here. And my target, honestly, I should probably have another target here where boom, 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 boom. I should have a take profit at this level, right around the 21,500 again, just because this is going to be a hard level of resistance at the moment. But again, dude, I'm waiting to see what happens here in a day. What happens here in a day is going to be huge. It's going to be freaking huge. And some people have asked me, Johnny, Why are you so bullish? Why? I'm bullish because of that. I'm absolutely bullish because of this, because I believe this is a catalyst for the turning of the tide. Not getting us out of a bear market, but it's the start of what's to come, right? Then September 22nd, when the Fed actually do talk about, are they raising rates? If they decide not to raise rates as much as, at least the analysts on Wall Street say, if they think, they should probably raise rates by 75 basis points, and then the Fed come out and raise it by 75 or half, by 50, then it's super bullish news, right? But those knuckleheads, they come up with all sorts of stuff. They're all backdoor deals, insider traders, yada, yada, yada. We're just retail traders here that try to do our best with what we got, whether it's options or, because options, all really options are just a way to leverage things too, but I love options. I absolutely love options. Some of them are expensive, and it's hard to play the 1% risk ratio with options because there is no stop loss in options. You either buy a call or a put, or if you're selling an option, you could do iron condors, butterflies. You could do all sorts of really cool shit with it to where they're paying you, but there really isn't no stop losses unless you, move the actual option to a later month, right? But we don't have to talk about options here. I guess maybe talk about options. Like, what are options? Shorting wise, I'm going to short the market if I see new lows. Okay? Short the market if I see new lows. I get stopped out of my trade. That would be one. One bad scenario would be is just breaking below this area. All right? Breaking below 18.5 again, that would prove that, hey, this is a new low, and more than likely, I'm going to get stopped out. So I might end up cutting my losses there and crying about, I lost 1% of my portfolio, maybe 75.75, 3/4 of that 1% if I cut my losses there. If I'm a smart man and I do that, that's a good chance for that to happen there. But once we get below 18,000, that's where I feel we're going to see new lows, and I'll probably short the market, but then I'll have a tight stop on the way up. My stop would probably be around the $20,000 mark if I'm just trying to plan ahead here. Ethereum, I said this morning, but because everything is tanking right now, show us your live position so you don't talk about it, you can gain more exposure. Well, I should do that, but I got to turn on my VPN to get into my Bybit and everything. I guess I could have it on my phone here. I can email them to me right now. All right, so just because Crypto Knight wants me to do this, I'm going to show you guys. And my entry point on at least my Bitcoin's not fully going to be 20,000 because it was higher than that before. And because I added back to that position, it's not quite what I wanted it to be. So, I'll do that one. And then you guys can see my Ethereum one that I've taken profits many times on before. And I am up 2% at the moment on that guy. Because I've just left it alone. I haven't done anything with it. And I'm at fairly low leverage here on this guy. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So Crypto Knight wanted to see them. So right now I'm down 7%. Entry 2043 because I was really got in at 2,600 on the first go around. If you guys followed me before when I took profits up to, where did I first take the profit? Because I moved it. It was this one. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. It was 22,300 is what if I'd have to look to back it right at my order book there. And then my Ethereum one, right? My price targets still stay the same on this guy. You know, I'm 2% because I got in at 1,576, and, you know, it hasn't done anything since then because we have this giant on both of them, giant liquidation candle here, right? So my entry's about right there. I feel like we're going to bounce if we can stay above 1,600. Right now, 1,600 is sort of acting as resistance here. And my levels to look at are 1,500. I definitely think that we are going to bounce off 15. And then my stops are underneath the 1,400. 1,400 for me is the time that I'm ready to short. That is where I'm ready to short, and the next stop for me would be right around the 1250. Again, because of this volume profile index, this thing is an amazing indicator for you guys that don't know. You know, you want to use this VRVP, right? So this guy, visible range volume profile, this guy is awesome. Absolutely awesome. You should put it on all your charts. Okay, and the interesting thing about this guy is if you change what you're looking at, it's going to change it automatically. Okay, you can see it's going to level up. I like to call it level up, but you can see that it's changing with the prices, which is nice, so that whatever you're looking at, you can kind of see where the walls are. And most of trading right now, guys, is Crypto Knight says, great work, Johnny. You gained credibility. Keep killing it. Thank you, because we need to have credibility, okay? So I'm actually trading what I'm talking about, guys, and it's fairly low leverage, right? I'm not doing 50x because I need to have lower leverage because my stops are fairly deep. And my stops are fairly deep because I need to be proven wrong. And what I like to see on Ethereum here, damn it, I need to zoom in again. What I like to see on Ethereum is we haven't made a new low. We have not made a new low. Get that out of the way. All right. So here's the bounce off that 1,400. Then here was a higher low. And then here's damn near, if we stay where we are now, that's a higher low. All right. What we have to break below is we have to get underneath about 1,480. For me to go, okay, the trend is, you know, it broke one of my rules. Now we have a new low. That's bad. That's bad. And then with something like that happens, that's where then I kind of start considering, should I cut losses? Should I cut losses and go with there? You know, but again, I'd actually make money in that trade because I already took profits on my Ethereum deal. And I took profits at 50%, and my stop is way down here. So if I hit my stop, I'm out for a zero. If I decide to cut my losses right underneath 1,500, I'm actually going to make money, even though my trade is going to say I'm going to be down 10, 15%. You know, it's funny how that works, but it is math. It is math. Okay, so Ethereum looks good, and truthfully, guys, we need to wait for the volatility. Now is not the time to be like really freaking out because we have to wait for what happens. Here, we have to wait what happens because you don't want to be set up in a position where you just hate life and you get out of this stuff and you're going to short big stuff and it just goes off to the races. If I were to short, okay, because I know that for everybody, this is how a market works. You know, for everybody that longs, there's just as many people that short. That's how the orders get filled. If everybody was long, there would be nobody to sell. You couldn't sell anything. That's just kind of how life goes. And most of this stuff is traded by computers nowadays. You know, they're algorithms, right? And they know they're set to see this stuff, and they beat humans all the time because of the whole psychological deal, right? But if I were to short, and I kind of went over this, but if I just had to get into a short right now, I would maybe get into a short if we start getting close to touching that 1,600 again, right? Because that 1,600 mark is just that psychological level, and if we get close to it, I'm going to say it's like resistance, so I could short it, and I could hold it all the way down to 15 to 14 if I felt like that's where it was going. I don't feel that's where it's going, you know, but if I was to do that, my stop would be where'd my stop be? If I had 1600, I'd have to be proven wrong. So I would need a new higher high to be proven wrong. So my stop would have to be above 1800. So if I'm breaking out, I don't need this ghost here, short position. So let's just do it. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. And first take profit would be for me the 1500, right? So that is a really crappy risk versus reward. It's only a half, but my actual take profit would be down here. So that's a 1-to-1. I mean, that's a decent trade, 1-to-1, right? And then you could probably, if it breaks below that, you could hold that sucker all the way down to 1250. And that is a good trade. That's damn near 1-to-2. I'd take that all day, right? But because of the news, again, I'm saying because of the freaking news, I feel that this stuff is just, there's so much bullishness behind this. I really feel like seeing 1800, 1900, maybe even 2000 Ethereum is really in our future. Maybe not September, but the catalyst afterwards. I don't think we're going to fall below 1400. So if you guys learned anything from this live stream, right? So just so you guys can take this information and go about your day. For Bitcoin, got to hold above 20,000. Next level from that is really 19,000, right? That's the area, 19,000, 20,000, okay? For having it bounce. And Ethereum, we're looking at, hey, it needs to get just above 1,600, because if it doesn't, 1,500 is that one level, and 1,400 is the, oh shit, we're going back to 1,250. Those are big ranges, but that's just where it happens to be, because we haven't decided what kind of a market we're in right now, because this is, it's sideways. It's sideways. We don't have a huge trending up market. I'd have to really, really zoom in to really see anything. And I'm not trading off of the 15 minute. But if I'm looking at the 15 minute, is, we are finding a range. Which is good. Just off the top of my head, I see a double top, right? And that double top would have to break 15, would have to break where it's at right now for me to short the 15 minute. That's actually, if I want to stay around here, might play around with that, but I'm not going to. I already have a trade open that's long in Ethereum. I'm not going to short Ethereum. I don't want to. What is stochastics look like? It's oversold. Okay, so that's conflicting for me here. Oh, I don't see that. Okay, volume on the 15 minute. Dang, that's a real big drop there. Could hold that sucker all the way down to 1,500 again. Yeah, 1,500, right? The box I'd be looking for would be here. That's actually a pretty good short. Pretty good short with that double top there, all the way down to 15. Because what would that be if we did break here? 4% gain. That's pretty good. Anyway, I'm not looking to short, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I am going to do this more on a regular basis. I'll try to do it every day. But this is just such a massive event that I feel like I have to go with there. And I'm not worried. I am not worried, guys. I am not worried. And my HODL stuff, I'm definitely not worried. Now is really the time to build wealth. Not trading-wise, but just investing-wise. By dollar cost averaging into good assets and holding them forever. Everything is on sale right now. Everything is on sale. So go do yourself a favor. Go research some good stuff. Go find your piggy bank that's got $10, $15, $100 into it. Whatever you're willing to watch go to zero, right? That's the key point, is whatever you're willing to watch go to zero. Now is a good time to put that stuff into good assets. Good assets. It might not make you a millionaire tomorrow, but over the next decade, I feel like it will. Not financial advice, but that's just how I have done it. That's why I'm sharing it to you guys. I'll probably show some of my portfolios more when I'm logged in and I live. I don't want to be showing you my credentials. So hence that's why I did the whole screenshot here for the current trades that are going on, because whole credential thing. So I will plan ahead next time, but appreciate all you guys. Please like, subscribe. I've got big plans for the channel. Till next time, I'm here to help you guys